Hey guys, how y'all doing? Good to see you tonight. Shawn, right here from Rockmart. Looking forward to talking to everybody. As you can see, I got my sweatshirt on. Just walked in the house. Was just finishing up one or two things out here on the farm, and I want to just get on tonight, kind of tell you where we're at with the campaign, what we're doing, where we're going, and also, how we're going to win this thing. I plan to be on for probably about an hour. So I just want to thank everybody that's already on. I see the numbers are already going up as we speak, and I want y'all guys, if you can, if you got some questions, hey, send them to me, and I'll try to get to every question. If not, then the next time I come on live, I'll address those questions. Tonight's going to be very informal. Just me sitting down here in my basement. As you can see, directly behind me is some pictures when I was in Afghanistan, and my beef, because I raise cattle for a living now. And so let me just kind of tell you where we're at, tell you what we've been doing. Y'all guys saw the new intro or the intro, but that intro is actually from the town hall that we just did last night in Rockmart. It was awesome. I think we have some pictures of it, but what I would tell you is this: I think about 65, 70 people came, which was awesome for Rockmart. Rockmart, Georgia, for the people that are all over the country. Rockmart, Georgia is where I actually live. It's kind of like right in the middle of our district. If you could say Rome is the middle of the district, we're probably about 20, 30 miles outside of Rome. What I would tell you, I was very pleased with all the people who came. In addition to that, it was Democrats, Independents, and Ronald Reagan Republicans that were there. They identified themselves as that. And the cool thing is everyone got a chance to ask their question, and I answered every question before we actually got out of there. And that is something that I pride myself in doing, is because when I become the congressman here in Northwest Georgia in CD 14, I plan to be representing everyone. I don't want it to be like it is now, is that certain people being represented and then everybody else is kind of left out. So I want to be a leader that says, yes, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not tied to a party. I'm not tied to a particular T-shirt and all that kind of craziness. My responsibility as your representative is to focus on the needs of the people right here in Northwest Georgia. And that's what we were doing last night. Also, we had some other candidates that came to the event. That's something that I try to do with all of my my town halls, is local candidates, other statewide candidates. If they can make it, I'll allow them to come. And before I get on the floor and start talking, I let them get up and talk for about 5-6 minutes and also answer questions. So that worked out great. But I just want to give a shout out to the leadership here in Polk County. They did an awesome job. Great facility. Sound system was great. Everything was outstanding. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you again. And guess what? That was last night. Now tonight we're on here with y'all guys. We're live. Again, I want to answer your questions. So put your questions in the chat, and my staff behind the scenes, as we see them, they'll get them to me, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. Right now, I see that is about 200 people that are watching us. We only been on now for about 5 minutes, and like I said, I'm going to stay on for probably about an hour. But I would ask you, I'm not sure what platform that you're watching me from, but if you would just push the little button, give us some hearts, get more people in here. That'll be awesome. What's going on with the campaign, or what's happening in the rest of this week? Probably the best way to say it is tomorrow I will be going to Atlanta. I think I have a interview on Atlanta First News. It will be taped, so it won't be live, but I'll do that tomorrow. And then at some point they will release it. So please pay attention for that. At some point, it's going to come out, but that will actually happen tomorrow. And then Thursday, I'm excited that I'm going to be going up to Rango, Georgia. If you don't know, Rango is where Dolly Parton actually got married. And this time when I go up to Rango, I plan to go and visit the location where she got married. I think this is kind of cool. But I'm actually going to the things called Books and Barrels, a book and barrel, for a meet and greet. I'm excited about this. I'm fully looking forward to getting there and talking to everybody that's in Rango and the surrounding area. One of the things that we have prided ourselves with this campaign is that we go to every zip code here in our district. It is actually no place in our district that's too big, or on the flip side of the coin, there's no place in our district that's too small. Because I want to make sure that as your congressman or your congressman to be, is that I am listening to you no matter where you at in the district. So I pride myself that we go everywhere, and we were given the opportunity to go at the Ringo on Thursday, and we will be there, and I just look forward to it. And what I would just say is pass the word around. If you're inside of Georgia or inside the district, please come. And if you're not, just pass the word around and get the word out to people and tell them, come on, stop by. I'll be there from 6 p.m. to 7:30. But if you know me, if it's still people that want to talk to me, I'm going to stay until the last person gets a chance to talk to me and ask whatever question they want to ask, or if they want to take a picture or whatever, that's cool. Because my job is to listen to you. My job is to make sure I understand what are the issues. And I clearly know here inside our district, the issues is all kitchen table issues, because at the end of the day, it's housing, it's affordability, it's trying to bring down the input costs when it's affecting our farmers. It's making sure that our veterans are taken care of. I know y'all guys probably got the word today, just like I did, that our VA has made the decision that they're going to cut 35,000 jobs when it comes to our doctors and nurses, our professional medical team inside of our VA. That is just crazy. And the way they're going to do this is, I'm not sure if you already know. Let me just step back. Maybe I just need to let you know that I did many years in the military, retired out of the military a few years back, retired as a brigadier general, proud of my service, proud of the fact that I actually started off enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, proud of the fact that I went to Parris Island and stood on those little yellow footprints and earned my right to call myself a Marine. And then proud of the fact that I went through all those years in the Army and served with many, many, many great leaders throughout time, and had the opportunity to lead, and at the same time follow, and at the same time learn from many others inside of the military. But I say all that to say this: I'm proud to just say that I'm a veteran, period. That rank stuff is gone now. I'm just Shawn, a veteran, just like everybody else. But it hurts me to think that you already, when you're trying to get an appointment to the VA right now, you sometimes got to wait considerable time to get an appointment to see a doctor. And it's right now, the VA is 35,000 medical professional positions are vacant. The way they're going to make sure, because they can't fire anybody else from the federal government, but the way they're going to actually continue to bring our VA down is by not hiring these people. I can't wait to get to Congress and start working on this issue and get this turned around, because this is a disservice to all our veterans. We need to make sure that instead of cutting the VA, we need to be putting more assets into the VA, so that we can truly be true to what we say all the time. Thank you for your service. We need to make sure that those words actually mean something. So when I'm actually in a special election right now, we don't actually have the real dates at this point. We believe the dates are going to be right around March 17th. Um, but we still got to wait on the governor to let us know something. Hey, I see something right here. Let me check this out. But you support Blue Sky Social. Following. Oh yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, we are actually on Blue Sky. I think, to be honest with you, I think I'm on 9 or 10 different platforms. And that's a blessing because we are trying to communicate across the board. Doesn't make any difference if you're on Blue Sky or make a difference or you're on Twitter or you on Facebook or whatever, because we want to make sure that we can get the word out about what's going on in this campaign, get the word out like I was just talking about. We're in the middle of a special election, and we believe that's going to happen in the March timeframe. The key thing about that, just to make everybody understand it, is the governor will be coming out saying something right around January 5th. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene's last day in Congress. And then from there, my understanding, he has to set it out to a point that our veterans that are overseas have X amount of days so that they can get their ballots back here for the election itself. And then on top of that, the key piece that I think everybody needs to understand is that I'm the only, as of right now, this moment in time, I am the only Democrat that's actually running for Congress on this side of the slate. Currently, I think it's 15 Republicans that are actually saying that they want to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene, and that's fine. What I will tell you is in this special election, it will be what they call a jungle election. That means that it will not be a primary for the Democrat or a primary for the Republican. All of us will be on the same ballot, and we have the election. And when that election is done, if anybody got 50% plus one, that individual wins it all and goes straight on to Congress. That is our plan. That's what we're trying to do, and that's what we're going to do. However, if no one get that 50 plus 1%, then the top two candidates will then run off, have another runoff election, and then you go head to head. So basically what I'm saying to everybody here in the district is please get in behind my campaign. The Democrats are super excited. This is something I said last night at the town hall. The Democrats are super excited. The independent brothers and sisters are super excited. And yes, our Ronald Reagan Republicans are also super excited. And every day, if you were in our district, you'll see more and more signs go up that says Shawn Harris for Congress. But in addition to that, we have some out there that says Republicans for Shawn Harris, and other signs. And that's awesome. Signs are just something good to see in people's yard and businesses and all that. But what I want to convey to everybody is I need volunteers. I need you to go to my website right now, and you'll see on there where you can, it's a sheet that you can sign up to be a volunteer. I was briefed earlier today that, and this is, you know, as a leader, I never get discouraged on where we're at because I'm always looking down the road to say where we're trying to go. And I was briefed this afternoon that we only had 47 volunteers that have signed up. I know that I have talked to more than 47 people that say they want to help this campaign. So I ask you to go to our website, go to that document, fill it out so that Shelly from our team could reach out to you tomorrow and start getting you organized to help us. And what I mean by getting you organized to help us, if you here in the district, we're going to definitely make sure that you're out there with me, knocking on doors and all those kind of things, if you can do that. But in addition to that, doing a phone bank. And in addition to that, sending postcards. But some of those things, you can do that from California. You can do that from Alabama. You can do that from Tennessee. It's a group of ladies up in Chattanooga, Tennessee that helped me out last time. and I thank them in advance. They do my postcards, and I'm fully expecting they're going to help me again. So basically what I'm saying to you is this: we want to be laser focused. We want to be organized so that we can win this election. I know everybody's saying, Shawn, I want to help. I want to help. I want to help. The first thing I need you to do, go fill out the paperwork, get your name, get your information on the volunteer list so that we can organize you and others so that we're all working together to win this thing. Here in the next few days, I guess you could say that we're in the holiday period right now. The college kids are already back home. My son got back home, I think it was yesterday or the day before he finished up his finals. So we're moving into that period that we're inside of the holidays. What I want to do is take this time before we really get into the holidays to get all of y'all guys signed up. We can then come back before we get into Christmas and New Year's and send out some information, because come January. Oh, one thing I forgot to say. I apologize. As y'all, I want you to know, is nobody here in the basement with me. This is what I'm following, this little piece of paper here. So it's not like I have something written down. I guess it is written down, but I wrote it myself. And one of the things that I skipped on here, I wanted to let you know that our volunteers that we already have up and working for us and helping me get there is this past week, or this week, depending on how you will look at it, has already started working on our headquarters there in Rome, Georgia. I'm not sure if we have a picture of some of the things they've been doing. Yep, there's a picture right there. That's some of our volunteers. That's Robin Holt. The Holt family has been helping her. Robin and her husband Tom. They were up there the other day putting up the banner. And without our volunteers, we can't get anything done. But what I want to let you know is that headquarters is right there in Rome, Georgia. I don't have the address right here in front of me, but that's here nor there. What I want to let you know is this: is that's headquarters. Behind the scenes, our volunteers are already working in the store, getting it organized, getting it up to speed, getting the internet in, getting everything together, because on January 3rd, I will be there and we will be doing a grand opening rally type style thing. So if you're in the area, please come. But it's one thing for me to say I'm going to be there on January 3rd. I want you to know that our volunteers, that's Tom there, is already, if you in the Rome area or somewhere here inside the district, you can drive past that location and see it. Like I said, I don't have the address right here in front of me, but I do know it's over by the Jerusalem Grill. So if you Google Jerusalem Grill in Rome, Georgia, it'll take you basically right past the store, and it's right there beside the hospital also. But one of the things I think everybody knows, but I'll just say it: if you just go to ShawnForGeorgia.com, that's the official webpage. Then on that webpage, you'll see where the volunteer sheet is there. So help me get some not some, a lot of volunteers. I would tell you our district is 10 counties. From one end to the other is 157 miles one way. And believe me, we just don't go one way. There's a lot of back roads, a lot of small towns, a lot of very small communities. And we want to make sure that when we out knocking on doors, we're not only knocking on doors in our major city areas like West Cobb or Paulding County or Rome. We want to make sure that we're knocking on doors in every little small town, to include Lookout Mountain, right there in Georgia. I know some of you may say Lookout Mountain is Tennessee. No, Tennessee did the marketing. Lookout Mountain, most of it is actually over in Georgia. So just help me help me get some volunteers in there tonight so Shelly can start reaching out to you tomorrow. I would love for her or the team to brief me in the next 24, 48 hours that we already up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 volunteers because and like I said, you don't actually have to live here in our district to be a volunteer because there's a lot of things that you can do from afar when it comes to phone banking, when it comes to sending postcards. But we also want those volunteers that's right here in the district is because we need to cover 10 counties. We need to make sure that we can identify who can vote and who's planning to vote and who will show up and vote. Because in order for us to win, this is going to be a turnout election, period. A turnout election. And we got to make sure that we can bring the numbers in. We can win it flat out right there. No runoff, no nothing, and shock the world and flip another red seat to blue. So I want to thank you in advance for all your help on that particular front. And I'm just excited to be able to the one that's been blessed to be able to run. But in order for me to win, it's a lot of hands that are actually making this happen. So again, I just want to say thank you. I see that roughly we got about 700 people watching me live right now. We've been on for about 22 minutes, which is cool. Let me see what it says down here. Thank you for focusing on the issues and taking the high road and engaging voters. Thank you for that. I would tell you that is my nature. Yes, I was in the military, and yes, I've actually had to do combat and all those things. But it is not my nature to put people down and bully people and all that kind of things. I'm the guy who tries to lift people up. We don't always have to agree on everything. Matter of fact, if we agreed on everything, then somebody's not doing their job. Okay, so I want to make sure, as your congressman, how can I work with somebody and find yes? And when we say find yes, we got to compromise on here and there. But right now, I think we all can agree that our Congress is currently paralyzed because unless a miracle happens, I don't think we're going to get to agreement when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to the ACA. So I'm worried that we're going to get to the holiday break here, the Christmas break here in the next few days, and Congress is going to come home. And then the next thing you know, millions and millions and millions of people are going to open their computer and find out that the healthcare cost has went out the roof. I was reading today that some people's expenses could go up as much as $2,000, $3,000. $2,000, $3,000 in Northwest Georgia is somebody's house payment. Matter of fact, it's a lot of people's house payment. Most people house payment is not that much. So affordability is a major issue. Healthcare is a major issue. And I want to be able to be a leader to get to DC and reach across the aisle, but also sit down with my Democratic brothers and sisters and say, okay, how can we get to yes? Because we need to get to yes now. And oh, by the way, we are not going home on the weekend until we get to yes. I think sometime you have to make it painful to get people to start wanting to work together. And right now, what I see what's going on is come Thursday afternoon, no matter what's going on, a lot of people's getting on the plane and flying back home and doing all those things. But the American people are the one that's hurting. Now, some people may get a little upset with me about saying stuff like that, but guess what? That's why it says leadership matters. I'm going to speak power to these words because I want the people that's going to vote for me here in this district. And I also want all the people around the United States to know that Shawn Harris is somebody who stands behind his words. And then Shawn Harris is somebody who's going to get up there and work. And Shawn Harris is going to be somebody who's going to say, okay, guys, I am not a rookie to working for the United States. So yes, I may be a brand new congressman, but I know how this government's supposed to work. And what I mean by that is we're not going home. One other thing I want to say on this subject, and I'll kind of change gears a little bit. It's kind of been on my heart a little bit because I'm doing all those years in the military. I saw firsthand that our government shut down many times. And when you're in the military, most times we're in the military. Well, to be honest with you, I've never seen it where the soldiers did not get paid. That's just calling a spade a spade. But I do know other people that work for our fellow government, they weren't considered essential workers, so they didn't get paid. One of the things that when I get to Congress on day one, you're going to see a couple of things are going to happen. And I'll stick to this subject and I'll tell you the other things I'm going to do on day one. But on day one, you will see me put together a proposal, put it right out there that says, okay, if Congress shuts down again, everybody else in America, don't care what you do for us. I don't care if you're getting SNAP payments. I don't care if you are working out in the national parks, whatever it is, you will still receive your paycheck. The only ones that will not receive their paychecks is everyone who actually works as a senator or a representative. Hence, and what I want to be specific about that is all of my staff people that would be working on my staff, I don't want those people to be hurt. They got a families they got to take care of. But me, as the leader, my colleagues as the other leaders, we are the ones that should not be paid. And because we're not getting paid, I believe that will force some of us to come in and try to figure out how can we get this government reopened and how can we get back to a balanced budget. So that's a change that I want to support, as a change that I want to champion, because I believe that right now it's just too easy to shut down the government and too easy to let the government stay shut down. It was just BS for the government to be shut down for 42 plus days. That is just ridiculous. And we just got to get better. That's not a Democrat thing. That's not a Republican thing. That is just basic leadership. We just need to do our jobs. I almost said the wrong word. I just gonna say it. Hell, it's my show. We need to just do our damn job. Period. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. And if you're not gonna do your job, then you don't get paid. And I guarantee you, when you have to come home and try to explain to your family why they can't eat something or why they can't do whatever, why they can't go on vacation, you'll get it figured out. So I want to put it 100% on us as your representatives, as your senators, and all those kind of things. We are the ones that feel the pain, and we'll let the rest of the country kind of go from there, because we should never, ever have our seniors or our most less fortunate children not receiving their SNAP. That's just not right. That's not right. The other thing that I want to do on day one, and I see we roughly got about 800 people listening right now, is here locally in the district. When I win this thing, just to let you know, let me get some water here. When I win this thing, some of y'all may think, oh, Shawn's going to win it and he's going to be up there for the next 2 years. No, we will be up there for 2 years, but we're going to win this thing in March. Then I'll go to DC, and then I got to run for this same job again in November. Okay, I want to make sure everybody understand that. Win it in March, got to run again in November, win it again, and then I'm up there for 2 more years. With that being said, when we win in March, my first day at Washington, D.C., and I raise my hand and I take the oath again. 3 offices that are currently, we have no offices here in our district that are really open and functional. I think Marjorie has 1 office in Dalton, Georgia, that has a sign. Somebody's there sometime to answer the phone, but nobody can really go into the office. So I consider that not being open. what I plan to do is have 3 offices in our district. One will be there in Dalton. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to use the same building that she did and just take Marjorie Taylor Greene's name off of it and put Shawn Harris on it. But then it will be another office in Rome, Georgia, and then another office in West Cobb. The thought process behind that, like I said, is 157 miles one way, depending on how you're driving. There's a lot more than that. You go taking all the back roads. But I don't want anybody to have to drive a long distance to try to get to one of our offices to talk to my staff to actually get some issues addressed. In addition to that, and that will happen on day 1, those offices will open up. So a military term, day 0, before I even go to Washington, D.C. Okay, we win the election. I don't jump on the plane the next day, but we will right then and there be making sure that these contracts are in place so these offices can open up on my first day. The other part of that office will be each one of those offices will have an office in there that is specifically set up to support our veterans here in the district. It's roughly about 40,000 veterans here in the district. Most of them are a little bit older, okay? Most of them are having issues trying to get their benefits that they have already earned. And what I mean about when I'm talking benefits on this case is they're either 10%, 20%, 50%, 70%, 80%, whatever percent they are. I want to make sure that I have a team or a staff in there that is 100% not only going to sit down and talk to you about your issues or trying to get your percentages up, they actually going to sit down and help type up your stuff. And when I say help type up your stuff, when you tell them your knee is hurting, they're going to put in the records what the medical term for a knee. I don't know what it is. My wife's a doctor. That's her lane. But they will put in the paperwork what your knee is called from a medical term of review, or what your lungs are called, and all those kind of things. The reason why I say that is because so many of our veterans are not receiving their benefits because they don't know how to fill out the paperwork. I want to make sure on day 1, our 40,000 veterans that's in this district can come to the office. Somebody's going to be there to help you get your paperwork turned in so that we can help you fight to get your benefits. The other piece that I want to make sure is that same office, if the spouses, too many of our veterans are passing away and their spouses are not aware that the spouse that's left behind should be receiving some level of money from the federal government. I want to make sure that those veterans get that paperwork filled out and make sure the spouses are aware that when their husband or when their wife has passed away, depending on who was the soldier, that they actually get the benefits of their loved one. So that's what's going to happen on day 1. Reason why I say day 1 is because I believe that to be a representative here in Northwest Georgia, where I'm representing everyone, I got to have tangible results that people can see and feel. On top of that, inside of that first 5-6 months, depending on how long it is up there in DC, I will be working on the things that you hear me talk about: healthcare, affordable housing, bringing generational jobs here, and all of those things. So just looking forward to it. You know, somebody told me this morning that I think it's Wall Street Journal, I think it was, or the New York Times. Don't quote me on, it was one of the newspapers. I can't remember which one, but it's a newspaper out there this morning that wrote an article about Republicans in Whitfield County, which is Dalton, Georgia. And the Republicans were saying, we got to get some of y'all guys out of this race, this and that, because if we don't do certain things, a Democrat could win this special election. You know what? That tells me that my Republican counterparts are nervous. That they having that conversation, but that conversation's made it all the way to either, I think it was the New York Times. Don't quote me on that. But I believe that they're nervous. And the reason why they're nervous is because all the work that y'all guys are doing, like I said earlier, my goal to be on here tonight is to talk to you, answer your questions when you send them in. But at the end of the day, if you notice, I hadn't asked for anybody to donate to my campaign. If you want to do that, that's great. But my focus tonight is to try to talk to you and tell you what we're trying to accomplish and get you to go sign up to be a volunteer, period. Because at the end of the day, yes, this campaign needs money. God knows we need money to pay for TV time, to pay for signs, you name it. We need money. But what I also need is real people that's going to give me their time, that's going to volunteer to make sure that we can talk to as many people as possible in this district to win this thing. Last election, I'm so proud to say this, and I thank every last one of these people, because everybody's vote count. And last election when I ran against Marjorie, I got 135,000 votes. Now, yes, we got beat. Okay, we got beat. This is not Little League soccer, so it's no second place trophy. But what I will tell you, 135,000 votes was the most votes that a Democrat has ever received here in this district. Guess what? Suppose that same 135,000 people come out and vote for me in this special election. We win the election hands down. I don't care how you want to cut it, the whole 9 yards. So what I'm basically saying to you as my volunteers and everybody who voted for me, whenever we find out when the election is going to be, and like I said, I think it's going to be St. Patty's Day. But here in Georgia, and I'll say this for all the people that's listening that's not from our state, when we have a election, we have a 3-week early voting in advance. I want to make sure that as Democrats, we usually win the early vote. Okay, that's what we usually do. We usually win the early vote. What I want to make sure is that not only do we win the early vote, but we also win election day. And that is why I need so many volunteers, so that we not only are we knocking on doors in advance, but we are knocking on doors on the early vote. But we also know what houses voted, but we also know who in those houses voted and who we need to go back and talk to on election day and say, I know you're busy. I know it may be cold outside, or in March, it won't be cold. It may be raining, but I need for you, if you really want change, I need for you to go on down there and vote. It won't take you long. And you could go down in history, and flip a district that was ruby red to a district that is pink. I want to make sure everybody understand what I just said there. I never said that this district is going to turn blue. That I think that's a dream a little bit too far. I think what the best we could do on my watch is go from ruby red to pink. And as we continue to bring in results, I think we will stay pink for some years and move somewhere close to violet, not purple, violet. I'm not an expert on my colors, but I just want to give clear guidance, and I want to give real expectations, because we have to be realists. And when we get there, we're going to bring in results. So one of the things I said the other night that I thought was pretty cool, was when we get elected, because this district is going to be so diverse. It's going to be a district where I want to represent everyone. My staff will be made up of Democrats, independents, and some Ronald Reagan Republicans, so that when we put in our policies up, we internally make sure that it fits everybody here in the district. Because I think that is the best way for me to represent everyone. I want to make sure that everybody has a voice. I want to make sure that everybody's sitting at the table. I want to make sure that everybody feels seen. This is not a game. This is not no damn Alabama Georgia football game. We're dealing with real people's lives here, and I want to make sure that everybody that's sitting at the table actually has an equal voice, and I want to make sure that I have people that are on my team. I'll tell you what I was up in. What was the name of that town last week? I was in Murray, Georgia, Murray County, Georgia, and I'm not going to say who I was meeting with, but I was meeting with some great leaders, talking economics, all those kind of things, and I made the statement to this young man that I said, "Hey, I want you to be on my team when I get to Congress," and he's a Republican. Okay, he's a Republican. But I told him, I said, the reason why I want you on my team is not that I want you to agree with me every day, but I want to make sure that when we're working late at night, working late at night, and we trying to put policy together and put a bill together that we can put on the floor, I'm going to look at you as my Republican and say, my Ronald Reagan Republican, and say, is the language in here fit your part of our district? Then I'm going to turn to my independent brothers or sisters. Is the language in here fit your part of the district? And then I'm going to turn to my Democratic brothers and sisters. Is the language in here fit our part of the district? Keep thinking what I'm saying to you. I want to make sure when I say that I want to represent everybody in this district, I'm just not saying it. I want to make sure that we show a new level of leadership, a new level of saying this is how you can get things done and become an example that you don't always have to agree on every doggone thing. But if we can keep what's important, and if what's important is the people that we serve, then I think we can get some things done. So hey, I see here it's roughly about 1,000 people listening. I've been talking for about 45 minutes. I'm not seeing, do I have any more questions? I'm not 100% sure. Okay, let me look at my little sheet here. I told you about January 3rd. I told you about that. We're going to be opening up the office. Please come out. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about, in addition to that, and I don't have the date right here in front of me, but in addition to that, here real soon, we're going to have I guess you call it a store thing online, that if you wanted to get a sweatshirt or a hoodie or, sign, whatever you want to get, and you want that mailed to your house, you'll pay for it, obviously, but that money would go and help our campaign. So that means if you're in California, you wanted something that said, hey, leadership matters, whatever it is, that could help our campaign. If you hear local, then you can come to our headquarters there in Rome, and we'll be able to give you yard signs. We'll be able to give you T-shirts, all of those things. So I just want to make sure that everybody clearly understands that we're trying to do two things at the same time. One, here locally, we want to make sure that you just come to the headquarters, sign up, get your stuff, go put it out in your community, kind of go from there. If you're not actually in our district or it's too far a drive, you can just go online and get your stuff, get your merch, and all that merch actually helps out our campaign and kind of go from there. So I'm excited about that. I'm not sure on when that particular store thing is going to open up, but I think all of these things may be opened up right around the same time as the store that we have um, that's starting on January 3rd. All right, let me see what else I got on here. Oh, so I talked about that. Um, Talked about the veterans. Talked about I only got 47 volunteers. I hope by now at least I got how many people watching this talking to me right now? Let me look and see. Oh, it's 1,000. Might as well say it's 1,000 people right now. So hopefully I got 1,000 volunteers already signed up. So I'm gonna move that up and say instead I got 47, I got 1,000 volunteers. That's a plus there. Talked about being at the store next week. The meet and greet. Hey, let me talk a little bit about my farm. Just a little bit. Adam. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Outstanding. Hey, I think now about two weeks, maybe three. Don't remember anymore. We had a calf. I'm not sure if y'all guys know. I actually own Karla and I, my wife. We own a cow calf operation. The cows that we actually have on our farm are beef cattle. We run 3 different breeds here on the farm. The farm main livestock is Red Angus. Then we have Black Angus, and then we have Charolais. Charolais is the white animal or cow. And so right now we're in calving season. So as of today, we have 3 calves that have been born, and we still have 17 more to go. So we just had this calf that you see right there. Like I said, about 3 weeks ago. And the normally I don't name my calves. They get what we call some little earrings on their ear that says that they're part of '07 Farms. They get a number in the ear that says that they were that particular cow there. If you put that back up, please. That particular cow right there, I think is his number. His number is the number 2 cow for this particular year. So he was born in November. He's number 2, November 25. So that's kind of how the numbering system goes. So that's kind of the name that's in the computer, how I track them. But the team thought it would be fun, and I like to have fun. We got a contest out there, so you can name the calf. These names that you see on here, Ranger, Rocky, all these kind of things, are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names that were in the top. So I want to just mention that to you. If you want to take time out and go to our Facebook page or to our campaign page and put your comments in and put your name, I think this week we're going to be announcing what is the name of this particular calf, and we may get something where I actually go out there and you'll see me do a video with him, and we'll make sure we use that name from now on when we have him on video. So, and then the cooler thing is that right there, that calf right there was just born 2 days ago. That's a little girl. As you can see, her mother is a Red Angus. I actually bought that particular cow probably about a month and a half ago down in Alabama from an outstanding farm, and came out, and it was quite cold that morning. It's been cold here this week, and that young lady, she's a heifer, so this is her first time ever having a calf. She did an awesome job, no issues, had the calf. And when I came down that morning, as you can see there on the ground, she had just had the afterbirth was there, and she was just licking the calf off when I pulled up. Let me get right off the ATV, walked up to the calf, checked it out, made sure was it a girl or a boy. She did not try to attack me or do anything. Very docile. As you can see there, I put the what I call the earrings. I put the calf's little earrings on. That calf there is roughly about 55 pounds. That's about the size of our calves when they're born, somewhere between 55 and 65 pounds. That's a little young female. But the cool thing is you'll see her in a month to 2 months from now, and she'll be pushing 100, 120 pounds quickly. So they come in kind of small so that the mothers won't have any issues trying to have it. But then after they hit the ground, they get some milk and they jump right off. And just this afternoon, the reason why I got on my sweatshirt, hopefully it doesn't show up with some of the dirt on it, but the reason why I got on my sweatshirt was the last thing that I was doing before I came in here, before it got dark, was I was out just double checking to make sure that calf was okay, because up here in Northwest Georgia, we do have to deal with some coyotes sometime. And usually in those first 2 or 3 days when the calf is still very young, you kind of have to keep your eyeballs out there. So I just wanted to get one more check in before it got dark today, and coming down in the basement to talk to y'all guys. But I'm happy to say that, you know, the farm was my dream after getting out of the military and being able to do something, or have my own farm, a cattle ranch. As I think some of y'all guys know, I was born and raised in Southwest Georgia, Blakely, Georgia, Early County, on a farm down there where we raised peanuts, soybeans, and cotton. But we did also have cows. So up here, I took that concept of having cows to here, and that's what we're focusing on, and we're trying to have a very good product. And you know, who would have told me that I would be running my own cattle farm, but at the same time trying to run for Congress? And what I would tell you is this: truly blessed. But it is very, very rewarding to get up every day and try to win the day. That's something I say to my team: win the day. But for me, winning the day, as soon as I get up in the morning, going outside, checking on the animals, making sure the chickens are okay, making sure, doing all my normal chores that farmers do, and just looking at my blessing and kind of going from there, and then turning right back around and say, okay, now what can I do to win the day for the people here in Northwest Georgia and the United States? So that's kind of it in a nutshell. But that's what's currently going on the farm. I see here. Do you have any thoughts on the PCS sticking out the rates and voting out there for? Yeah, you know, just last night at our town hall that we did here in Rockmart, we actually had a candidate that's going to be running for the PCS position in 2026, another Democrat. I thought it was kind of crazy. I personally didn't think it was legal, but that's somebody else to take care of, that they would do a vote right before everybody gets out of their seat and wouldn't wait for Peter and the doctor to take their seat. So I think that tells you that some things are a little shady when it comes to that PCS team up there. But you know, the good thing is we got two strong Democrats that are going to be taking those positions. I think they go into those positions in January. They're going to address those issues and get it squared away. Like I was saying, just last night, we had a candidate at my town hall that is in the process. It's a little early, but it's in the process of putting her name out there. So I think we're going to have even more Democrats going to step up, because I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe either two or three more positions on that particular board is going to come up in this next election here. That's coming up in November. But I'm laser focused on my own election, but I am trying to do everything I possibly can to help across the board here in the great state of Georgia, when trying to get people elected to be governor or whatever other position they have. Here we go. I bought a house And Mark Martin voted. Okay. Hey, thank you for that. You know, Rockmart is a beautiful, beautiful town. Let me just step back. Polk County is a beautiful area here in Northwest Georgia. The day that we pulled up and looked at this house and looked at this farm, we were just blown away with the rolling hills and but really what sealed it for me was just meeting the people and how nice everybody is across the board, regardless of your whatever t-shirt that you have on. Everybody's just super nice. So Karla and I, we're just excited to um to be here on the farm and be here in Polk County with everybody and getting to know more and more people. Yeah, I see your thing here says, hey, I should get a donkey to protect them. You're right. Donkeys do a great job, but donkeys also eat grass. And I'm I'm one of those guys that says, look, let me see what other practices can I put in place, because I look at it like this. I rotate my cattle. I'm what they call a regenerative farmer. So I rotate them, and I think as long as we're keeping our practices in place, and then we go out 3 times a day and check on them. Thus far, knock on wood, we've been just fine here for the last 2 years. We just have to make sure that we keep the grass or any not weeded areas, but any areas where predators can hide and kind of stalk. We make sure those areas are cleaned up at all times, and it just makes the place look a lot more tidier. And at the same time, it makes us where we can look out for those predators. But when we first bought the farm, it was a lot of predators. We actually had coyotes that were being bred right here on the farm, but we had to get rid of those guys. And now, because we run this farm in a way that is a lot of other wildlife, turkeys, deer, the whole 9 yards, that our cows are not at the top of the food chain. So that's kind of where we at. Says here, and I know I said my purpose tonight was to talk to you about being volunteer and trying to tell you what was doing the campaign. But again, if you would like to donate, please just go to the website and donate whatever you can. It says, will you support police reform and treat people fairly? What police are doing to people? Um, um, I'm not sure if I actually understand your question, but what I will say is I support the police, and I will make sure that the police is always going to be professional and do it the right way. So I don't know what that question's getting at, but what I will tell you is all the many years that I spent in the military, I've actually worked with our police here in the country, but also overseas. I will also make sure I have a great relationship with the police now in every county. Every county that I go to, I try to sit down with the police chief or talk with the sheriff, try to figure out what their needs are, try to make sure I understand what is going on in their communities, because it's all about keeping everybody safe. I am not the guy that's talking about defunding the police and all that kind of stuff. I am the guy who says, how can I work with the police? How can we make sure they get the right training? And how can we make sure that if it's 1 or 2 bad apples in there, that those guys are taken out? And when I say taken out by the leadership of the police, get additional training, or they just retired out of whatever they need to do. So that's where I stand. The other question here says, if I need more signs, please sign up on these signs. If you need more signs, please. I'm not sure if this question is somebody inside the district or outside the district. So let me answer it 2 different ways. If you're inside the district and you need a sign right now today, you should be able to contact your county Democratic committee or organization in your particular county, like Polk County or whatever. And those offices actually have signs from my campaign. In addition to that, starting January, or you can come to our website and say, I need a sign, and then we will push you in the right direction wherever you can get a sign, depending on where you're at. Like I said, January 3rd, we will be opening up the store, the headquarters in Rome, Georgia, and that's where we'll have all the signs, all the t-shirts, stickers, you name, buttons, you name it. Everything will be there, and all that stuff there at the headquarters is actually free. The other place here, and I see somebody's put it on the thing that says a link for yard sign request. Does everybody see that on the scene? On the screen. I hope you can see that. I think we should probably put this into one of our social media posts to ensure. Adam, will you put that back up there so people can see it again, please? Because that's something that I didn't know myself. So if I'll talk this just for a few minutes. Let me get some more water. That is where you would go and put your request in for a sign, and kind of go from there. Hey guys, I see I've been talking for 1 hour and 1 minute, to be honest with you, and I see that it's might as well say it's 1,130 people that are listening right now. At least that's what I can see on my screen. What I want to say is this. You put that back up. I said it earlier. My focus tonight was just to have a normal conversation, not a political conversation, but just kind of let you know where we're at, what we're trying to accomplish, and what do we need as far as help. First of all, my intent is to try to get these 47 names that we had up to more than 500, 600, 1,000 volunteers. And when I say that, I'm talking about volunteers that can be on the ground here in Northwest Georgia. Also, go and sign up and say, hey, we can volunteer. We're an organization, but we're in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we can do postcards so that Shelley can reach out to you and we can get things organized. Then, in addition to that, if you can, please go to our website and or you can just put your phone right up to the screen right there, and it'll take you there. And if you can donate some money to the campaign, that'll be great. One of the things that I'm proud to say is that the average donation for our team now is $23.37. To me is pretty cool. I don't take any money from APAC and all that kind of stuff. So if somebody wanted to ask me that question, nope, I'm not taking that kind of money. Nobody can buy Shawn Harris. At the end of the day, we're going to win this election by all of us working hard together. We're going to win this election by small donations, just like President Obama did it back in 2007, 2008 timeframe. And I'm proud to say that I am confident that we're going to win this election. I'm confident that we're going to get to Congress and get some things done. I'm confident that the people here in Northwest Georgia are going to be proud of us and the results that we bring back to them. So let me just close out and say thank you, and 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 thank you again. If you live here in Northwest Georgia and you see me out at the store, or you see me out at Tractor Supply, or you see me out at Walmart, or you see me in Publix, or you see me at the sandwich shop or the coffee shop, please stop, say hi, engage with me. And because what I want to do is make a personal relationship with you. And then I also want to make sure that I hear your concerns so that we can start putting pen to paper and put some thoughts together of what are those top 1, 2, 3 things that you want me to work on when we get to DC in this very small period of time, from the time that we get there in March to the time we run it again in November. We want to make sure those things there. And thank you for that, brother. I appreciate it. Can't wait for yes. Thank you. And guys, hey, you know the cool thing about being a retired general, or that's in the past. The cool thing about being a farmer now, or a rancher, or cattle producer, whatever you want to call me, is hell, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I go to bed at 8:34, and the clock down here says it's 8:36. So I am 2 minutes past my bedtime. And right there, that is a picture of one of our cows. She should be having a calf here next month. But that what's the cool part about that picture, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna hop off. The cool part about that picture is here in the next few weeks. I'm not sure when the team's going to release it. I'm going to be talking directly to our farmers, talking about these buyouts that the Trump administration is giving us or not giving us, talking about changing the way that we do agriculture and not producing all the food that we send overseas versus what we do here to feed America. But that picture is from a video that's going to be coming out. And that the cool thing is, as I was doing the video, that cow walked up in front of me and stood right there while I did the video. So that in my mind was a pretty cool day. That's what I call winning the day, when you're supposed to be standing out in the middle of the pasture talking about agriculture, and one of your cows come right up and say, "Hey, I want to be in this video," and there you go. So guys, thank you for joining me tonight. I see here we roughly got, might as well say, 1,200 people that are watching us live, at least on this particular platform that I can see. And again, thank you. And hey, God bless. Let's volunteer. Let's go win this election. Have a good one.